Hey, I'm Evan.
I'm Mike.
Welcome to USS Sea Stories.
The broken and falling, damned old souls been sent to burn. Nowadays they've been calling, telling me soon gonna be my turn. Head down.
Hey, welcome back to USS Sea Stories. Evan, Mike, we got newly recruited to the Submarine Force, qualified Miss Lopez, who was MM before, MM Surface. Now she's a YN. Welcome. My first question for you, what motivated you to actually go into the Submarine Force?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've been, well, as a machinist, as a prior machinist mate, it was a rate denominated by male. So I wanted to do something a little bit more challenging, but I didn't expect it to be that challenging. But as of right now, it's been an experience that I don't regret, but I wish I had more information before I applied for the program.
So you being like one of the first females on submarines, right? Because throughout history, it's been a male-dominated program, and just recently, like when I got out in 2014, that's when they're just starting to talk about bringing women on submarines and stuff like that. So now that there are women are on submarines, how does it feel for you, being a woman on a submarine, and obviously it's a male dominant program. Do you feel some type of way about that, or are you comfortable with the whole thing? Did you get integrated fast? Are you part of the crew and stuff like that? How's it make you feel?
Well, coming from surface to the submarine community is two different community. Even though I was in a rate denominated by male, submarine community still have to, there's a lot of males in the submarine community that are not accepting the females in the submarine community. So sometimes when it comes to, as you guys know, if you are not qualified in the submarine community, you are nobody.
Right.
But coming from surface with 3 different pins already, and people trying to trip me like if I was a brand new sailor just because I'm new to the community after being in the Navy for 8 years. It was a challenge. I had to defend myself a couple of times from males trying to kind of belittle me, kind of bullying me because I didn't have the fish in my chest, but I was able to get through it.
Yeah, I know it's different for men going through the qualification period because we got to go through whatever bullshit. So I know for a woman it's different, it's challenging because they're not going to expect you to really be up to par, be up to speed with all the other men and stuff like that. So I understand you probably had a little more rough than a normal guy going to qualify.
Yes, I did.
I think it's incredible, to be honest, this is like a turning point in history, whether we want to know it or not.
Right.
For I don't know how long submarines have been around. Like the first submarine was the Turtle, way back in the day, and yeah, and throughout history it's just been men, and this last decade we've brought women in, and it's a good thing. And us recording this, man, is really crazy because we have one of the few women who's ever been served on a submarine to ever get their fish, and you basically are like the first generation of women submariners. So that's really cool.
Yes, it's a good experience though. I know a lot of females trying not to get into the submarine community, and I don't blame them because coming from surface as a fleet returnee to the submarine community, you really pushing your career a couple of years back. So it's like you have to start from the bottom. No matter how good you were in surface, they don't care about what you did before you came to the submarine community. It's all about from the day you step on that submarine forward. So it's like all my 8 years that I spent there in surface is like down the drain technically because it really don't matter.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned that you wish you would got a little more information and everything before you actually joined. I was going to ask, what how was I guess the submarine experience? How's that lived up to your expectations? Just for what you've understood or what you've known without with very little information that you got. Like, how did that live up to your expectations?
Well, I'm not going to put the submarine community down because I'm part of it now. But
I'll do it for you.
the leadership skills that a lot of people in the submarine community have is not up to the standards that I was used to in surface. It's more about respecting your chain of command. There's a lot of respect, even though you don't work for someone, but if that person is higher ranking than you, you're supposed to respect that person. And that's one thing that I'm still trying to adjust, because in submarine community, such a small community, that you see, your Devo, your chief, your third class, your second class, all of them talking like if, they're friends.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm trying to adjust, because it's totally different.
We heard about that all the time, Mike, when we were in South Carolina, because a lot of us were sub guys, but we were mixed with surface people. And they saw how we were just shooting the shit with like chiefs and officers and stuff, calling them by their names and stuff. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? But yeah, it's like you said, we're really informal compared to the surface fleet, from what I hear anyways. But it's actually really cool that we have someone here now who's been part of both, that can explain that to our viewers.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot different, but don't get me wrong, I've been able to meet a lot of great people through the community. The experience is, not everybody can say, not every woman in the military can say they served in a submarine and went on a deployment and live underwater for months at a time. It's only a couple of us that can say that they have done that. So even though it's not what I expected,
right,
it's something, to pass on to my kids and my family.
It's history. I mean, you're one of the first women to ever do it, so that's really cool. What submarine are you on now? So you're on a BN, right?
No, I'm in a GN.
You're on a GN. Okay, got you.
So I'm in the USS Georgia, blue.
Oh, okay. The Georgia. It used to be a BN, wasn't it? Maybe
yes,
they converted it.
BN, and they converted it.
They converted it. Yeah. Man, I've been out for a long time.
So that's pretty cool. So I was on a fast attack. He was on the BN. So now you on the GN. So
you have a bit of all.
Yeah, so the trifecta. Yeah.
So we've never actually talked to anybody that was on the GN. How was like the lifestyle out to sea and everything like that, as far as like going out like for deployments and everything? Do you guys do like the 3 on 3 off, or how does that?
We're deployed once the boat is out of the yards, and we do 6 on 6 off, even though sometimes one crew always stayed longer than the other. And for my luck, my crew always is on the boat more than the Gold crew. So
yeah, that seems to happen, doesn't
it? It's not fun. But I mean, it's not that bad knowing that, for 6 months at a time, you're going to be out. And then the other 6 months, you're going to be in a building training and, doing trainers and all that stuff.
Right.
At surface, you're on the boat for 6 years straight, or 5. I did 5 years straight on surface. And that's going on the way, duty days and all that stuff. So I think that's the only good perk about the submarine, that you're 6 on 6 off. And once you're on off crew, you don't stand on duty like that, the way that we stand on duty while you own the boat. So
all right on. So how would you compare like the goods and the bads with surface and subs? Like, what is, if you had to choose like one or the other? Well, not really even that, because that's super biased, but like what are the goods and bads between both surface and subs?
Oh, this is a hard question. But as a machinist mate surface female, it sucked because I always had to do 10 times more than what the guys in my shop did. So I can show, hey, I'm a female, I can do this job. But we were close, we were a family. And then in the submarine community, it's almost the same thing, but my job is more rewarding, I can say, because I'm able to talk to people more and more like a customer service. So my job is gonna affect somebody's day technically, because if their pay is messed up and I'm not doing my job, then they're gonna be really upset.
Right.
Or if they get an award and they get recognized, their evals and stuff like that, it's like I'm part of that.
Were you on a carrier?
I was in an LSG.
LSG. So how many people was on, or usually on that?
Roughly attached to the boat, we were like 1,200, but with the Marines and squadrons, we were like 5,000.
Okay. So like compared to a submarine, which a GN probably has around like 150 to 200 people, somewhere around there, right?
So for the submarine, my GN, now this deployment that we did, it was like 180 plus. We had some riders.
Yeah.
So the divers, if we're doing any dive evolution and stuff like that, gets high also.
So the question is, like, how do you feel about being on one ship, probably not knowing most of the crew, to being on another, vessel that you probably know every single person? Like, what are the benefits and stuff like that?
Being in the submarine, getting to know everybody is cool. It has the good things, bad things, because everybody know each other's business. And for me, I'm a very private person, and I don't like people in my business. So being in the LHD, you knew, your engineer department or your friends, and you knew like part of it. You can see I saw everyone every day, but in a different level. The submarine is so small, you see people like you gotta push them so you can get through. While in the ship, you were able to just walk freely and do whatever you want without having to worry about being too close to someone.
All right. How did it feel once you actually got your dolphins?
A relief.
Yeah.
I didn't have to argue with people almost every day because I didn't have my fish and they were trying to trip me some type of way. So I had to always defend myself. But when I got it done, it was like, now I can breathe. Now I can learn my job, because coming from as an MM to a yeoman is totally different job. So I had to learn everything.
Did they send you to A school at all?
Yeah, I went to A school, but yeoman A school is very short compared to what you do. As a yeoman, you do a lot of different things. You got to do legal, you got to do PS stuff. In surface, we have different rates for different things. So I'm doing a job that 3 rates in surface does.
Yeah, I've heard that before, actually, is yeoman on subs. They cram like 3 to 5 different jobs into your job rather than on the surface. They kind of spread it out with different rates and stuff like that. So it kind of makes me feel a little bit better about myself.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Toot your own horn a little bit, man.
Yeah, toot my own horn.
Yeah.
So what made you want to join Submarines in the first place?
Just make history. I like challenges.
Okay.
And at first, honestly, it was a good challenge until I got stationed in a submarine, and I just respect people a lot, but I wasn't getting that respect back. And it was tough because coming from this surface community, everybody's so loving, everybody help you out. Oh, you got to the boat, let's help you get qualified, let's, all that. And it's a marine community, it's like, there's no help. You have to get your fish technically on your own, find the information, go get the checkout. If you don't know anything, go back, get the lookups. And it's like they're not willing to teach you how to operate their equipment in order for you to get that checkout. So and that was something that I had to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can understand that, especially you already been established at one, one platform. You like you said, everything is loving. You kind of know how everything runs that way. It's kind of hard, jumping to a new platform, being brand new. It's easier for somebody that's coming straight from boot camp, going through the school and getting into the process when you're already been established. Now, the one thing I can attest to about why we push people to kind of like fend for themselves or do certain things themselves, because we can look at it as if something was to go wrong, right? You can't really rely on anybody at that point, right? You kind of gotta like have that instinct to go find it, do whatever on your own, which it could suck, especially with somebody being new, like you said, from a whole different platform where you have people that was willing to help. You come to a whole new environment to where you don't have that type of that level of respect or whatever that you said. This level of respect, but we showed a whole lot different than what
I think it's like how we were talking about how, like, for Yeoman, for example, on submarines, they're condensed into like 5 different jobs. Well, same as like your position as a submariner when you have your fish and everything like that. Just there's that much more responsibility that's put on your shoulders, kind of thing. So I don't know if you've seen our previous videos or not, but Mike and I talked about how a lot of, how they treat nubs bad and stuff like that. And, they really try to make them fail because they only want winners on submarines, and, I'm saying,
but you're a winner. You're a winner. You've made it.
I'm a winner. But the thing is, for me to be a winner, you don't have to mistreat me and talk to me in a certain type of way. I just feel like I can learn everything that I learned without having to without them having to be so extra, trying to like treat you bad and all that, because it's not necessary.
Yeah, you're gonna have those assholes like that. You're gonna have those ones and twosies that's gonna be extra for no damn reason. Now you're gonna have the ones that's cool, but you're gonna have the ones that's over the fucking top for no damn reason.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a lot of those though.
Yeah, well, there's times, Mike, you could probably attest to this too. You have your over the top motherfuckers that just want to make your life miserable just because,
Yeah. Like, why the fuck you breathing, nub?
It goes back to like your haters and your huggers kind of thing. I turned out to be a hugger when I was qualified.
I did too.
Yeah, that's just
for me. It's like it's kind of weird because I came as an E5 and I had more help from the chiefs, the officers, than the actual E5s, E6s, and below. And that's what was like, wow, this is kind of different. Mm-hmm. Surface, I have more help from the E6 and below than the chiefs, because that's what they expect the E6s and below to help each other out.
Right.
Then all the chiefs trying to help me and teach me the way, because I came in as an E5 and I'm literally behind compared to all the E5s that we have on board. So that was kind of like a culture shock for me.
Yeah, but you made it, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, did you get tacked on, by the way? Like, I don't know if you're actually serving right now. I don't know if you can say that or not, but did you get tacked on?
What does that mean?
You probably didn't get tacked on.
You didn't get tacked on.
So, yeah, we'll just leave that there.
Yes. Oh, when they put the pin in you?
Yeah, when they
no, that happens. That they do that in surface too.
Okay. Do they do it in service? Didn't do that to you when you got your fish?
Female, yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm about to say I can see the complaints right now, man. I wouldn't do it, man.
Don't do it. But it was a good experience, honestly. I learned a lot, not only about the submarine community, but I learned a lot about myself and the things that I'm capable of. And it made me a little bit stronger because I can stand up for myself and stand up for others, so they don't have to go through the same thing that I went through coming in the community. So like you guys said, I'm a hugger. So when I get new check-ins, I'm like, if you need help, just come see me. Don't go to see nobody else. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out because when I was qualifying or when I was getting qualified and then finally when I got my fish, I could have sworn I was gonna be a hater. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a hater. Fuck these nubs and stuff. But then when nubs came on board, I was like, hey, I help you out. You know, like it's weird how it worked out like that. You know.
Yeah, I was the nicest fucking dude ever, man. Like I tried to be hard and shit, but most of it jokingly, but I was nice as fuck, man. I couldn't be mean to nobody because I hated being a nub. So I was like, I ain't about to put nobody else through this shit.
It all depends though, because there's some people that don't really give a damn. And honestly, like they say, I mean, your Navy, but I have to give it to you straight if I don't see you like you actually trying.
Mm-hmm.
But if I see that you're trying and you actually reaching out for help, then I will help you out. Other than that, I'm like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to help you and you don't even give a damn about you.
Right. You gotta be self-motivated to get your fish and everything like that.
Yeah.
So are GNs the only submarines that women are allowed on right now, or
Right now, yes. I think the Wyoming, one of the BNs, starting to get ready to get females. Eventually, probably next year, they probably get a female. It's always gonna be khaki first, like a chief or officer that's gonna go to them first, and then they're gonna bring the enlisted.
When you went through the pipeline, was there any other females with you, or were you just kind of solo?
No, I was able to go through all the trainings and stuff with other fleet returnees. It was a good experience for us, though.
is that how it starts? Is it like you don't start for women? You don't start like fresh out of boot camp. You're in submarines now, or did they start with you had to be a fleet returnee?
At first, it started with fleet returnee. Now they sending females straight out of boot camp to submarine.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you went through, how many other women went with you, and how many actually qualified?
Now, when I went through the training in sub school, or when I got to the boat?
All the way through, like from when you were in sub school with other women to when you got to the boat to when you actually put your fish on your chest.
Well, from sub school, we got a couple of females that got disqualified because of medical reasons. Then once I got to my boat, we got a couple of females get disqualified too because of medical situation, or it was like new sailor and fleet returnee. They wasn't like adjusting to the lifestyle on the submarine or the qualification stuff. So they got kicked out of the community and they got sent to other communities. But as of right now, when I was going through the qualification, my submarine qualification, we had another female that got to the boat before me, and she got qualified a couple of months before me. So out of the 12 fleet returnee, I think we had like 5, 6 fleet returnee, 2 chiefs, and 3 second classes. All of us are qualified submarine, and now we have the new females too that they are qualified.
So are you the only female right now on your boat, or do you have one more? Or
No. We have right now. When I got to the boat in 2019, we had like 10 females, officers, 2 chiefs, and like 4 second classes. And now we're supposed to have 10% female. We probably are the 10%. We have like 20 females now on the boat.
So how many deployments have you been on?
I've been on 1 deployment.
Okay, so one of the questions I kind of want to get on. So it's a mostly male platform, right? With yes. Females on there. Throughout history, it's only been male, so we've never had any sort of tension kind of thing going on, right? Now, from a female perspective, is there any sort of tension between male and females on submarines, and from your perspective?
I don't think there is a tension. I just feel that male and female together in one place, they're going to be friends. Some females are going to be more comfortable talking to male than all the females. Some males are gonna be more comfortable talking to females than another male. And my boat specifically, there's no tension. I think we have combined the female and male together pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few drama here and there, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
With a female, there's always gonna be some drama.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was gonna be worse in that part, but it's pretty good. I mean, I can't complain, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember back in like 2012, sometime around then, when they first were flirting with this idea of bringing women on submarines, like all the women, the wives of the submariners, they're just like, nah, fuck that. Nope, they ain't bringing women on submarines.
Yeah.
Kind of bullshit, you know. And you know, they had their reasons, but now that it's happened, you know, it's interesting to hear that from your perspective. Like there really isn't any drama.
Yeah, and so most for me being on an all-male crew and being on an all-male crew, we talk crude as hell. We joke crude. You know, the way we kind of do things is crude. But have you ever felt like some of the men on the boat kind of walked on eggshells or certain jokes or certain things like that? Or have you ever felt like there was a few individuals that tried to push the boundaries on certain things to try to get a reaction out of you? Or
yeah, we tend to have very dark humor and very crude humor, like he's saying. Some of the humor can be very sexual, you know. So like when other guys are around you, does it feel like they kind of tone it down a bit because they're around you, or do they shoot the shit around you just like without a care?
For me, it's a little bit different. Like I said earlier, I came from an engineer department and not that many females, so I was already used to that environment. But there's still a lot of sexism in the submarine community. A lot of males, they're like, oh no, she's a female, she can do that. And I'm like, watch me do it. And then I go and do it. You just gotta prove them wrong. If they feel like females are weak and they shouldn't be in the submarine community because of the job they do is not for women, look, I'm here and I'm doing it and I'm doing it great. So I'm sorry. If you don't like it, then get out.
Right.
But females are gonna, I'm sorry guys, but females are gonna take over. And the thing is that female in submarine, I don't really wanna put the submarine community down, but there's a lot of people in the submarine community that are kind of a little bit lazy.
Oh, yeah.
Females are all about, you know, go-getters, let's get it done and we're gonna do it well. And a lot of guys don't like that we came over, especially on my boat, all the fleet returnees, the females, we like on point. So a lot of them are kind of feeling some type of way that we are taking over. We have the best collateral duties. We getting awards. We, you know, getting qualified, doing good things. And they are in their way, so they kind of lazy unless they don't see you doing something. They don't want to do it, but because you're doing it as a female, they want to go for it too. So
they don't want to be outshined.
Exactly. Yeah. Are we doing
well,
it
that's
anyway,
big ups, man. That's real big ups because I got much respect for a lot of the females that did decide to go and join submarines. I mean, for just for anybody, submarines is hard. It could be rough. It's challenging. So the fact that y'all actually volunteered and want to do it,
it is.
That says a lot.
It's challenging. It's not for everybody. That's one thing I can say. For sure. Male or female. Because I've seen a lot of males that they're like, I'm like, bro, really? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's pretty interesting. You know, I'm curious to see in the future what the male to female ratio is going to be on submarines. You know, if it's going to be 50-50, 60-40, 40-60, whatever the fuck, you know, what it's actually going to be. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Because right now, when we go all the way on deployment, we get all the females from different boats, riders that they come out with us. So we technically go out. We went out this deployment that we just did probably with around 50 females.
Oh wow.
So that was pretty good number compared to what we actually have on the boat.
Mhm.
Right.
So we know you through Summerlin, right? We just had an interview with Summerlin. You might have seen his videos. We did about 3 videos with him. How was it working with him? Like, how did you know him? Since you weren't a yeoman on surface, right? You were MM. So how did you know him? How was working with him? How'd that go?
Well. Let's talk about Summerlin. Funniest guy ever. I met Submarine on the boat. Even though I was a machinist mate, you're always gonna get to talk to people from different rates. And I always had to go to the yeoman office or to XX side. But I also was trying to, while I was in surface, I was in the process of cross-rating to be a legal man.
Mm.
So I had to work in exec for a whole year. And I had to work close with Summerlin, and it was a blast. Summerlin is the funniest guy ever.
He's a good guy, man. Like, well, actually, you know, it's funny, a legal man, because he actually did a whole bunch of the legal work in South Carolina and security, right? He worked hand in hand with the JAG. So that's funny. Yeah, he's a good guy, man. He's so funny, man. He's a good time. I had a bunch of parties with him.
Oh yeah. He loves to have a good time.
Yeah. Good dude, man.
You guys work together?
Yeah, the 3 of us worked in South Carolina, the Charleston, South Carolina. That's where we all met and all partied and had some pretty good times. Yeah. If the last video we just put out on our channel, actually, you could if you actually watched it, it was we talked about some of the craziest times that we had.
Yeah. Dude was a fool, man.
Yeah, he was.
He is.
All right, so we're about end of the time here. Is there anything you want to close us out on? Anything you want to say to our listeners, anything like that before we end the conversation?
Well, I would like to say to all the females out there, if you would like to join the Navy and go to the submarine community, for my fleet returnee females specifically, think about it, do your research. Don't do it like me. I just went for it and I didn't research it. I wish I could have known a little bit more about the community before I made that decision to go submarine. I don't regret it, but if I would have prepared myself a little bit better mentally, would have been a totally different experience. But if you are willing to set your career back 3 years, go for it. If not, just stay where you are and do the best you can where you are. Don't change your community.
And if you want to get some information on the submarine community, go check out the USSC stories on YouTube, man. And then we
You have a good time just listening to the stories, I bet you.
Yeah, we've had plenty of stories. But yeah, we have a lot of information besides just bullshit and stuff. We have a lot of information and stuff like that, and we get to meet awesome people like yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have you back on this channel in the future.
Just let me know. I will be more than happy to.
All right, guys.
Definitely.
It's been a pleasure.
Coming up ahead now.